This is Stories from Palestine podcast. My name is Crystal. I studied history and teaching, and I am a licensed tour guide. I'm married to a Palestinian from Beit Safafa. We have 2 children, and I have no work now due to the situation. So please, if you enjoy this weekly podcast, click the Ko-fi link in the show notes and make a donation to support the show. And please share the podcast with your friends. In the previous episode, you could hear the introduction to the Palestinian Heritage Museum in Jerusalem with a tour of the ground floor with all its different heritage objects. In this episode, we will continue with Bahaa Jubeh, the curator, to the upper floor where we will learn about the history of the traditional Palestinian thobs and embroidery, tatreez in Arabic. There was a lady, she's a foreign woman. She came to one of my tours in Bethlehem, where I'm a tour guide. And she told me, Crystal, an Israeli woman gave this to me. And she said, this is from the people who used to live here. And I think it was in Ein Karem, but I'm not exactly sure. And she didn't know what to do with them, and she gave them to me. And I kept them all the time. And I said, I want to show it to somebody who is professional, just to give me a story about it. Do you know where these are from? Are they good quality? Were they made by people in the countryside or in the city? What is it that you can read from these pieces?
What can I say actually about these? It's really important, the story of them. It's more than, they are old, they look old and original. And from different places. I don't think that these used to be in the houses like this. Somebody cut them actually from their dresses. Maybe the one who took the dresses, because these are just the chest panel of the dresses. So the most important thing that what you say, that these are used to be in a house in Palestine, but these related to 3 different areas in Palestine. So it's really something that somebody collect them and put them in that house. Because this one, the white one here, is from Ramla region, near Lod, Ramla, which is Ramla region, we call it. And like Safriye and Bet Nabala or something like that. And this one is more Bir Sab'a and south of Palestine. And this one of maybe from the design near Jaffa and Gaza, north of Gaza. So these are from a region like Ramle, Gaza, Jaffa, Bir Sab'a. So this is from the motives that I see that we can recognize from where. And maybe this is from Bir Sab'a, but also maybe from Rafah and Khan Yunis, because they are really similar. I'll show you now when we go a tour here. I'll show you dresses that we are exhibiting that from different. Maybe you'll recognize some of them yourself. But the most important thing that I told you, that these are story of the object also, as museums, as curators, as researchers. Sometimes the story of the objects is more important than the object. Tell us a lot of information. This is why these are very important that you kept them. I don't know what you are going to do with them, but they are really talking about different areas and different stories, I'm sure.
Well, that's actually how I came to you, because after I got them, I talked to Nadia Hasboun, who is a friend of mine, and I showed it to her, and we talked about what to do with them. Should we reuse them, repurpose them in other dresses that we can wear, or should we make bags of them, or should we frame them and hang them on the wall? And then she said, well, maybe if they are really important and she couldn't make that decision, then they should be in an archive or in a museum. And then we also had that discussion of, is it respectful towards the pieces to purpose them into something new, or should you never do that?
It depends on the way that you want to keep them, actually. The way that you are talking about that, either reuse them or put them in the frame or something, it's a type of how you are thinking about how to preserve them, how to keep them, or to use them also. But if you are using them in a bag or an address, maybe that will be a little bit hard for them when you are using them, because they are historically. When we talk about these things in the museum, that we keep them as they are, actually, and we'll talk about their story. We have parts of dresses in our collection, but we didn't exhibit them. So will be one of the ideas about talking about dresses, tatreez, embroidery, and one of the exchange exhibitions that we are thinking about, if we are going to talk about how people used to replace, because also in the past they used to replace the chest panel and some part of the dress when it's become old or dirty or something like that for the daily life, actually. And most of these are, I'm sure that they are daily life dresses. So they have a big, it's really, they have really a good opportunity to study them and put them back in their content and then you can do what you want with them, but you have to document them, digitize them, and then maybe you can do. But from our perspectives, it's more respective that you leave them if you want to put them in a frame or something like that, but at least you have to take care of them.
Yeah.
This is what.
Yeah. And would you as a museum be interested in having them? Or do you have so many pieces that you say they will get lost in the archive?
No. We have a big collection, but also people donated a lot for us. So we are not saying no, but because we want to preserve all of these things. So if anybody bring pieces and want to donate it to the museum, that will be very welcoming for us. And this is very important because our aim actually to protect the cultural heritage. This is what we are not going to say no, just go and do what we want to with if you want to do something that will guide you and will advise you that what you can do with them and what is the best way.
I personally, because they were given to me, and I'm a Dutch woman, although my husband is Palestinian, my children are Palestinian, I don't feel that these belong in any way to me. They belong to the Palestinian people. So if they can find a good place in the museum, I'm happily going to leave them with you, and you can do with them what you want. If you research them and you find any more information, I'd be happy to know about it, and I can add it to my to tell the podcast listeners. But I didn't feel that I should use them in a dress or in a bag because I felt like it's kind of appropriating somebody else's heritage.
So thank you. It's really important that. I'll send you a form that we have to sign for donation, and you put your name actually with them. Please just write your name, and we'll put the date that we receive them. Then I'll contact you to do the donation form for the museum here.
Absolutely.
And it will be in your name in the museum.
I'm going to write it for you.
Yes.
So you have it. I will put my phone number. Well, you have my phone number.
Because I told you that we want to break the stereotype of the dresses, because we know that the dress is really very, very, very important, but people deal with the dress as a national thing that sometimes we don't look at it as a dress. We look at it as like a Palestinian flag. It's a identity of Palestine. And this gives wrong idea for people that this is a dress can give us a lot of information, not just a national symbol. It gives a lot to talk about traditional way of life, especially for women, and how they used to work also in the fields with their men and all of these things. So it's a national symbol, but also it gives us a lot of information more than this. So this room, we call the daily life dresses room. زي اليومي, daily life. And we're talking about amulets for children that they hang them on the bed of the children's there. And from these dresses that we can talk about different kind of occasions that we can have them from the dresses, and we know about the dresses because we can see that this is a married woman who have babies and breastfeed them, because we have these openings here that she opened.
Oh, she can zip them open on the side so she can breastfeed.
Yeah, but also a lot of this is a modern something that she put that, but also she opened this and then she sew it again after a while. There is a lot of dresses that, and also this is a length that sometimes they put the dress up, and so maybe two different generations were have these.
Yeah, because in the middle we can see an extra piece of cloth over the whole horizontal part of the belly.
If somebody was shorter, then
they lengthened it.
Yeah. So yeah, and these also the hammocks that they used to put the babies in them, and they hang the hammocks on the trees and work with their husbands and their men.
They bring the baby to the field, hang the baby in the tree in a hammock, and then they can work with the men.
And this is also a very interesting dress. It's more mourning dress.
There's no embroidery on it.
This is we call it mourning dress because the woman took the chest panel that it's embroidered and attach a black tissue here, which is this is talking about that. Maybe she lost her husband, their daughter, son, or something.
She was mourning and she didn't want to look beautiful and decorated.
And another traditions in Palestine that women, they dress outside.
Inside out?
Yes. Because they don't want to show all the embroidery and the shiny things when they go to the mourning. Actually.
When they go to say condolences to a family, they will dress inside out.
And these are dresses, gives us a lot of information. Also that here, daily life one, which is, we have couching here, they because it's used, it gives a lot of information for us that when they are working, they are sitting on their knees, so the dress will be destroyed.
There will be damage on the knee side, and then they patch it up with other pieces.
You see here in the chest and it's become more light. The colors are going because when they cook and they wash their hands, what they do actually?
Yeah, they probably dry them up on the top side of their dress. Yeah.
This is why the daily life dress is more important for us as a document, as a historic document for...
See the life in them, yes.
And different kind of materials, different kind of...
What is this material?
Yeah, this is linen.
Linen?
Yeah, and it's mostly handmade linen and it used to manufacture in Majdal near Asqalan.
Yeah, that was very famous for linen, true.
And this is from Jerusalem area. Ain Karim, Silwan, Azariya, Deir Yassin, and all these uses.
And how do you recognize that? What is specific?
Specific is more about the materials, the textile material, and the motifs and the way of embroidering. This is couching, and this is cross-stitch embroidery. In Jerusalem and Bethlehem, mostly they have you can recognize the chest panel here. And this is very, very old because these are not with the golden and silver threads. And this is the original.
So when you say cross-stitching, for those who are listening and they can't see it.
This is a type of embroidering. Cross-stitching is a type, and there is different kind of types of embroidering in Palestine. There is a book that Sumbula, I think they did with Hasbun, and they are talking about the Bethlehem couching.
So, because if I look at it, it means that they don't make crosses, they make long stripes and they close together.
And they fixed it on the silk material, actually. Mostly they're embroidering on silk. There's different kinds. There is, the book is talking about 17 different type of embroidering, but most of them are cross-stitching. But the names of them and the way that the women used to work with them, But the most important thing that the cross stitch is the most popular one.
Yeah. And you can, when somebody professionalizes in it, they can recognize from the motives that are being used, the decorative pattern and the colors, you can know where it was from.
Yes. And I'll show you now that it's obvious here. This is why I told you that maybe it's better to do the...
Oh, there are many different dresses here.
We are talking about from north of Palestine until the south of Palestine. We'll go there.
Okay, each room is a different region.
This is from north until the middle, until Ramallah. From Safad.
From Safa till Ramallah we go. Okay.
This is from Safad, the Upper Galilee. And it's mostly, you can see that these are mostly related between Palestinian and Syrian embroidery. And the way that they have the jalaya, the coat, and the dress underneath. We are talking about a style that in Upper Galilee of Palestine.
So there's like an underdress with a lot of cross-stitching, and then there is another coat over it in a darker color.
Couching with silk inside.
Oh, the inside is beautifully decorated.
The inside is the most
purple,
important.
green, yellow.
Because they are working on, when woman's walking, it will be open, so they want to see the winds, And the decoration here, then these are from outside.
On the back side, we have cross-stitching, and on the inside, couching. Yeah, it's beautiful from all different angles.
And this is also from Kafr Kanna, north of Nazareth.
Where Jesus turned water into wine.
And they have the trousers. This is...
it's a pants.
Yeah, it's a pants.
Oh.
It's a pants embroidered. It's the same way because
they're close together.
So but different type of materials and design.
Yeah.
And the headdress is also the asbe and shawl that they used to put on their heads. And this is from Nazareth.
Oh.
And you have to recognize, and this is the other one, this is from the Bedouin of Tiberia. But you can recognize that from Nazareth until Nablus, you can see there is little embroidery. There's
much less embroidery.
Much
That's
less
true.
Embroidery, because from Nazareth until north of Ramallah and south of Nablus, in the inner Palestine, in the mountains, what we have from between Nazareth and Jenin is the Marj bin Amir. And women doesn't have actually time to embroidery. They have more than one season. And
they're working on the fields.
So they hang on more the decoration of the textile more than they... and there is a say in Arabic in Palestine, الفضاوة بتعلم التطريز. Who have time, he can embroider.
Exactly. Yeah, no, well, it makes sense. Yeah.
And these women doesn't have, because there is Marj bin Amir, and there's Marj Sanur, Marj Sawiye, and these are agriculturally...
These are valleys where it's very fertile and they can work on the land and they can't sit and do tatreez.
I saw that you have a question about the machine. Actually, machines, we have another one, a hand one. This is for legs and the other hand, and we have another one, we didn't put it, but the electric motors. Machines played a lot of roles in Palestine. Nowadays, we are talking about the most beautiful and most originally that what we have made handmaking. But in the 30s, when the Singer machines came into Palestine, women were very, very proud actually to do it on machine. The one who has a machine like one who have Mercedes today, I don't know, but they used to have, it's really very important, and this became very purchased, and they were very proud that I joined my dress in a machine. So, but now it's go back, but machines took a lot of, and threads also. You can see, don't know if you can recognize, the old ones with the threads of silk threads. But in the 30s, in the British Mandate, the first, when the DMC threads came, also played role in Palestinian embroidery, because they stop dyeing their silk threads themselves. They start buying it. And then you will have the same color. You have the same thing because it's manufacturing.
It became standardized more. Is that from France?
Yeah, it's France, DMC, the company. And also some motifs became new because they used to send the DMC threads with catalogs. And there is DMC catalogs.
With motifs.
With motifs that people, mostly the birds and all of these things became mostly with the DMC catalogs. There is birds that they used to have it in the olds, but not really perfect like what they have, because they have the picture and how they can embroider it in the catalog of DMC.
So you can actually see from that period of time, you start to see that the Thobs are becoming more universal or the same.
Yeah, you can also recognize that in Ramallah area, they have the dark red threads. In the coast, they have mostly light red threads. People get their identity also from the colors of them. And this is a different kind of, they call it tahshaye, like the one what we saw in Bethlehem, but this is from Yazur near Jaffa.
Yeah, this is not cross-stitching.
No, not cross-stitching. There is a little bit cross-stitching here, but it depends more about fixing threads on the thobe with designs, with different designs, different kind of...
Like long strings of flowers.
And here we'll start with the coast near Jaffa, Ramle.
Did they use more white in the coastal area?
Coastal area near Jaffa, Ramle, they prefer light textile, like white textile.
You think it's because it was hotter there?
Sometimes, but it's also like the identity and to be different from other.
Distinguish.
You can't find two dresses the same dresses. It's obvious because if each woman wants to be special, actually, the hairdresses will be special than the others. Even so, if you see like Bethlehem dresses is the same, it's not the same. If we studied the dresses, never find the same.
Unless they were made in a factory.
This is why I'll show you now when we're talking about it. This is Ramallah black dress.
Black and red cross-stitching.
Yeah, cross-stitching, and that shawl became actually in the 30s, they call it Japanese. They used to wear it on their heads also. It's a silk, but it's embroidered, actually not Palestinian embroidery. This is more from India and...
yeah, it looks Asian. Yeah, so that became a trend. They had a new fashion. Yeah.
And here we have wedding dresses from different parts of Palestine and headdresses. But the first thing that I was talking about, the original dyeing materials. Mostly the indigo was the most important. And this is a plant. The indigo is a plant, was planted in the Jordan Valley. From north of Jericho until Tobas.
But is it native to the country or it was imported?
It's native, and it used to be the color that also the Pharaoh used to buy it from the Canaanite in this region. When the chemical indigo came also in the 30s, like what we have here, the agriculture of this plant disappeared because it's very expensive and hard to work. This is why we recognize also the old dresses, how much is expensive, because as much as indigo in it, which is more black, became more expensive. When it's become light like a jeans, what we are wearing now, it be cheaper. So this is also the way that, but they have also the chamomile and
what we have here for coloring?
We have
sumac, pomegranate peels, curcuma, madder roots, henna, and another root, Alcana tinctoria. So we see here, like spices, they look like we want to go cooking.
Yes,
senna.
Senamiki, we call it in Arabic. And carcade,
hibiscus,
indigo, and
chamomile
and almond. And also there is other, but when they actually boiling these things, they used to have the shabbe, we call it shabbe, which is sour and salty stones. Mostly they brought it from.
You have to extract the color.
Yeah, and to keep it on the textile because you have to put something salty in the dyeing process.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
We have these different kind of material that they use to with the names of the different kind of material.
So all kinds of fabrics.
Yeah.
But the fabrics were not produced by people at home. I mean, these were produced by
manufacturing, either looms like in Majdal or most of them to import from Syria, actually from Aleppo and Damascus.
And then they bought them in the markets.
Yeah, yes, most of them. And these are for men's dresses, kumbas and badle that they used to wear on the... And they used mostly imported from England and, from Europe, actually. And they were very proud that they have imported textile. And here we have women dresses from Bir Sabah.
Black and red, but red embroidery with different shades.
Because this is more like van, they call it marawih.
Oh yeah, it looks like a ventilator.
Yeah.
I've never seen this before. I mean, you can see the flowers and the stars and the shapes of the tree and so on, but a ventilator? Maybe because it's very hot in the sun.
And this is Jalaya from south of Hebron.
Wow.
And these are Waqayat Darahim, which is a headdress with...
Headdress with coins.
500 till 1,000 coins on that one. And this is the original Waqayat Darahim. There's a lot of other Waqayat Darahim. The burqa there, the face veil also here.
Oh, so they used to veil the women until the wedding night?
No, this is actually, I'll tell you, we have it there, but I'll tell you about the face veil here actually in Bir Sabah and the desert areas is something more functional. It's not religious that they cover their heads actually. Nobody don't want people to look at them and put all of these shiny golding and...
No, you attract the attention.
More attraction. But it's that you can say that it's heavy from the...
It's down, it's heavy with all the coins.
Because in the desert there is winds with
sand.
So they cover their heads and it's more function. Something that they want to protect their faces. It's not about religion.
Skincare product.
Yeah. And this is Bethlehem velvet dress and the shatwa here.
Yeah. Very colorful. Lots of orange, red, purple, gold.
Gold and silver threads.
So this would be worn only once for a wedding?
For a wedding and also for another weddings. If they go to participate in another wedding, this is more festive dresses. It will be wedding, but also for other.
And was it important that
occasional, let's say?
You don't wear them usually. But was it important that the family would make it themselves, or would you go and buy one?
The families used to work themselves, actually, mostly in the villages. And they help each other. If we see one of the villages' dresses, women used to help each other. One will take this arm, the other will take that arm, the chest panel will do it, and then they put it together. And it will take 1, 2, 3 months to make it. If one woman wants to make one, it will take maybe 6 months. But this is how they gather when a wedding coming or something like that. But in the cities, mostly they buy these things. Like Jerusalem actually also villages, they didn't embroider. They buy more. It's obvious that they used to buy the chest panel and the arms and the banayak, the side of from Bethlehem. You can see it. All the Jerusalem dresses are like the Bethlehem dresses because they are buying things. They don't embroider. And this is a way of life that they in the past, actually, in the 20th and before, embroidery was actually villagers' works and villagers' tradition more than cities. And the women in the cities, they didn't use to wear actually traditional dresses, embroidered dresses. They used to wear like that one in Jerusalem, like it's more Turkish. The women of the officers, like this one, they used to wear, this is called sarme, which is Kurdish, Turkish, and the shawl with shalet مفضد with the silver on it. This is the way, but after Nakba, actually, the dress became a national symbol. Everybody became once, and the people who were in the cities, because they want to show that they are with the tradition and keep the tradition. All the women and all the associations start working and they have new designs with jackets or something like that with embroidery things. Became a national symbol for Palestine. You can see it in the arts of Palestinians, artists, they painted embroidery, and you can see it in the BLO posters that they produced during the revolution, and showing the women are dressing embroidery with arms, with all of these things.
So you would say that once the women got uprooted from their homeland or from the place they were born, this became more of a national identity.
Yeah.
And then when they came to these refugee camps, if there were people from different parts of the country,
this is mixed actually also the idea that was each village had its style. But when we'll go to the refugee camps, that a lot of people came from different kind of villages in the same camp. The women start having other motifs from other villages in the same dress. So you can say we have the refugee camp embroidery. And there is another thing that you have to know about embroidery before the Nakba and embroidery after Nakba. There is a change not just in the camps, but also with the materials between in Palestine, out Palestine. Because as I told you that textile used to import it from Syria. When 48, the Nakba came, Palestine was closed and we can't import anything from the Arab region. So refugee camps in Lebanon, Syria, Jordan, they continued having the same material and the same threads, and they continued embroidering the same way. Palestinians who lives in Palestine and the refugee camps in Palestine, the market stopped have the same material. So most materials came from Europe actually, more than the Arab countries. So the materials, the textile different, and the threads became different, and the tatreez became.
You can really read the history through all these stories.
This is Beit Dajan near Jaffa, and this is Ramallah khirqa and Ramallah wedding dress, and you can see the.
This is a bird, and olive leaves. The rooster,
which is also a Christian symbol.
Yes, exactly, for Saint Peter.
Yes.
Yeah, this is very finely decorated.
Yeah.
But again, here we have the white.
The white thobs, it's more wedding dresses we are talking about. And you can see that Beit Dajan have cross-stitch, and because they used to have that they have more purchase, where they have more money. And you can see it also in the Jerusalem villages and
different types of stitching in one dress.
These are Silwan Lazariya and Lifta, Deir Yassin, and this is also Malak, which is Malak, we call it, and this is Bethlehem also, that like the one there, and the Shatwa of Bethlehem.
Tell me about the Shatwa.
Yeah, the Shatwa is the headdress of Bethlehem. That it's, if you can look at the Shatwa and you can relate it to the Tadmor, the headdress of Lebanese also, that you can see it's really high things. That means that Palestine is part of the region. This is when I tell you that the Upper Galilee Safad is influenced more from Der'a, Syria, because it used to be open. When we are talking about cultural heritage, we have to a little bit, let's say, disappearing the borders that we are British mandate Palestine. Actually, people who in Safad, it was easier to go to Damascus than Jerusalem. So it's people were living actually in the region. Dresses from the Jordan Valley in Palestine side, like Jericho. It's the same, similar with Salt and Karak and all of these, the Jordan Valley. It's the same. Dresses from Rafah, Khan Yunis, Bir Saba, the same with Al-Arish in Sina. So Palestine is the part of the region and cultural heritage, and dresses telling us this. And telling us that this embroidery and cultural heritage doesn't recognize borders. Yeah. And this is Jannah Nar, they call it, but we call it Abu Utbeh. It's more silk with cotton threads. And this is a Jallaya, this is Iraqiyya, call it, but doesn't relate to Iraq. It's more Iraqiyya, and it's sweating. Yeah, that they put it and they take the sweat from their heads.
It's a headdress. It has very big coins as a decoration, but it is soft from the inside. It has a long shawl below
it.
They
put it actually on their hairs. They lafaif, they call it, and because they put it roundly on their hair, and they put it on their heads to take a sweat.
The sweat, when they're working on the land, will go inside.
Iraqiyya, this is south of Hebron.
For Iraq, it's also sweat. Yeah, now I get it. Yeah.
And this is the Jallaya, the open Jallaya, south of Hebron and Beit Dajan. This is the style of Beit Dajan Jallaya. It's opened, and we have another one is closed. Oh, yeah. And here we can say, and that's the shell. But what we can see here, that the Jallaya was opened before the British Mandate, and they closed it when the British Mandate started, in 1917.
In the front side of the dress, there is an opening, as if you have a skirt, that can open.
You have this,
so you can bend down or sit on your
and it's a wedding dress. Oh. So they closed it because they became more conservative. In the Ottoman period, it was mostly the same religion, the same traditions. But when the British came, actually, the foreigners came to become more conservative, so they closed it. Yeah. And this is the way that also something affect embroidery and costumes. Yeah. And that one also that I told you about the Uqat al-Darahim, that actually Uqat al-Darahim, this is a headdress, it's really heavy, but it's related to the wedding ceremony. And not every bride has one, but it used to be one or two in the whole village, and they give it to each other in the wedding. Decorating. And this is a very interesting type of it's more costly. This is Herbia, near Gaza, actually. Where is Zikim now? We hear about it. It's Herbia. And this is the dress of that area with silver undershirt. And it's more decorated with different kind of...
Like laces.
Yes.
Yeah.
And these are from Gaza.
Oh.
And that picture is more about Majdal, where the looms used to be. And these are camels holding cotton. In Majdal, there used to be more than 500 loom.
More than 500?
Loom, yes.
Wow. So when Majdal fell in 1948, it really removed a very important part of the Thob and the tatreez tradition.
And because they became refugees in Jabalia refugee camp, there used to be a lot of looms in Jabalia. But now it's destroyed.
Jabalia is in Gaza Strip.
Yeah, in Gaza Strip, yes. And we have here your chest panel that you brought. One of them are really a lot similar. This is Rafah.
So that's why you thought maybe it's from the south.
And because you can see the color that you brought, there is a color that you maybe you can now recognize what I did.
Yeah, you're right.
And here we have two kinds of face veils. One with tissue that
one is a cloth,
and one without. Just coins and silver and beads. And you know that these are also related to beliefs, that blue brills are against evil eyes and all of these things. Women used to wear a lot of things to protect themselves from evil eyes and black magic, or we call it, or something. It's folk beliefs.
So amulets are a part of the Palestinian tradition.
And there is also embroidery patterns called amulets also. Like in Gaza, like these ones, they call it amulets because it's triangle. This is camp. This is the misht.
Like a comb, like a hair comb.
Yeah. And this is, they call it maqas.
Oh, like scissors, makas, yeah. Are there books that give you all these different patterns and motives and explanation?
There is a lot of books that talking about Palestinian embroidery, like Widad Kawar books about threads of identity, all of these things. And there's a Palestinian costume by Sheila Ware from the British Museum. She did research and talk about the Palestinian costumes. And there is a lot of scholars who actually studied the Palestinian heritage. But when we are talking about the Palestinian heritage, when foreigners actually studying the Palestinian heritage, they took actually and they document very well. But it's like sometimes, as I told you, the Iraqi, they think that it's Iraq, but it's Iraqiyya, it's sweat. And also like Thob al-Malak, which we call it Malak, and they call it Malak. And when Palestinians took the same, translate the royal, they call it royal, and we translate it Malak because it's royal, but it's Malak. Malak in Arabic, something that doesn't wash. You can't wash this chest panel, you'll destroy it. We call it Malak.
And because people understood it Malak, and that's royal, so it must be the royal dress.
Malak, and we call it Malak actually. Until now, when people I said Malak, because they can't understand the Malak, the original. And this is for the furniture. And this is, we'll talk about salons and sitting rooms in cities actually more. Because cities used to have Damascus furniture, Cairo furniture, and local furniture. And this is a way people used to have sitting rooms with radio when it came, with oud, and this is dressing. And this is the photo of the owner of this house, Salim Hosseini. He was the uncle of Hind Hosseini, and she took this building from them, from his family, and they donated for her. Some of them, she paid them something just really, and she got it. And this floor that we are here used to be the orphans are living here.
The orphans.
Orphans, yes.
But I'm just interested, this is furniture with embroidery on the furniture.
Yeah, but this is, and this is originally, and this is used to be in Hind Hosseini salon.
This is wood with mother of pearl.
Mother of pearl, this more Syrian, like Damascus. And that one is Arabesque more, like without nails actually. This is
no nails, no glue.
Yes.
It's all joggled.
Yes.
Wow. Oh, this is what a room would look like.
Yeah, this is one of the rooms, and this is the American colony room. And they are, you know that the American colony, not the American colony, sorry.
Orient
the
House.
Orient House, which is, we are in there is 3 houses was built. This house, the American colony, and the Orient House. The American colony and the Orient House became hotels, but this was family more house. This is why it kept more, but the others became more famous than this one. But they were cousins, 3 cousins who built 3 houses outside of the old city, and they call it Al-Husseini neighborhood because they were Husseini. Salim Hosseini and Rabah Hosseini, and the 3 of them built their houses in this area. And here we have the men's traditional dresses. You know that men's have the traditional kumbaz with the white hatta, the scarf, the white hatta and the gal. And it used to be the most popular in all over Palestine. Maybe it will be different colors, but it's the same shape. When the British, and in men's dresses, it's more obvious the governmental influence on costumes. When British came, the kumbas became kumbas and a Western jacket.
Yeah.
Then the people who work in like lawyers, teachers, and they start wearing Western
pants, a blouse, and a vest.
And a vest. So it's obvious, and the tarbouch.
The tarbouch on the head, yeah.
But in this way, this is the more Turkish dress because it is a high commander in the Ottoman army. This is Musa al-Husseini. And this is his photo with the whole thing. That this is the original. This is.
Yes. This is the costume, and this is the photo of the man wearing the costume.
And the sword, his sword, and everything. And this is for his horse, actually, also embroidered the same way with golden and threads.
The saddle for his horse is even embroidered. Wow! Wow, that's gold embroidery. That's fantastic.
And then this is the last room that we have more vendors and traditional handicrafts. This is Sanduq al-Ajab, we call it, the Box of Wonders. It used to go, actually, we have seasons like Nabi Musa, Nabi Rubin, and people used to go, and this is from Khalil Ra'ad, photographer, if you heard about Khalil Ra'ad, this is from Nabi Rubin first season. And children used to sit here, and the Hakawati, the storyteller, start talking, and there is photos that he.
So they sit in front of the lens, they look inside,
and he'll put his hand here, and here there is he can.
He can move the images.
Yeah, and here with these threads, these are covers with here. They cover it. He'll cover it and turn it and open it so they see another photo, and he's talking about this is the first cinema, if you can.
Oh, my son would love this. If he sees this, he's going to want to make one. Yeah.
And here we have the street wandering barber that he used to put them, and these are to wash the heads.
So he's outside, doing people's beards and haircuts.
They wash their heads with the.
From here the water will come
and he'll wash
into a bowl.
And this is also for the builders.
Yeah, stonemasons.
And this is for horses, actually, the blacksmith.
That's my ancestors. My ancestors were they were shoemakers. Not for horses.
Yeah, this is a shoe cleaners. In the 70s, it used to be. We had until that, but these are from the. If you see here, 36. That's mean this object became to the museum in
the year 36.
And these are models for shoes.
Wooden models for shoes.
A collection of all shoes.
Yeah. This is how they would model the shoes. Wow. Incredible. A very old pair of leather shoes here.
Yeah. And they used to use also the tires of cars. Also.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
rubber.
Rubber, yeah.
The end of the 19th century.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
And then, because we are in Jerusalem, and the breads and the ka'ak. We'll end it. But this is a donation from the one who used to sell ka'ak in the school, actually, in the 70s. When he retired, actually, he gave them this as a donation.
By the end of the tour, people start to get hungry and they can think of ka'ak and they can go home and eat a piece of ka'ak. What a fantastic museum. I don't know why I didn't know about this before.
Yeah, no, you have a recording of it.
I have a recording.
You are welcome.
Thank you so much. If you want to visit the Palestinian Heritage Museum, check the link to their website in the show notes. If you bring a group, you can also request for a guided tour. The museum is located in the building of Dar al-Tifl Association, right next to the American Colony Hotel, where you can also find one of the 2 locations of the educational bookstore. Thank you for listening. I hope you will tune in again next week. And don't forget the opportunity to support the podcast through the Ko-fi link in the show notes.